This news story came out today. Peter Dinklage is very upset with the news that there is going to be a retelling of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I think it was more upset of the way that it seems they're going to be depicting Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This was a quote of what he said from a recent podcast episode he did with Mark Maron. It says, literally, no offense to anyone, but I was a little taken aback when they were proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White, but you're still telling a story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive to one way, but then you're still making that fucking backwards story about seven dwarves living in a cave together. What the fuck are you doing, man? Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough. Dinklage is not involved with the Disney project. Now, I did not actually hear the interview with Mark Maron. It's tough with this type of thing. Podcast. I mean, hey, I love podcasts as much as the next dude, but it can be tough to tell just from the written text if there's a joking element involved with this, if there's actual anger behind this, if there's any irony or self-deprecation in the way that the subject's being talked about. But just in terms of the outside of what he might actually be doing, this type of stuff always sparks what I would say is a very boring type of conversation. In some ways, I think, this type of stuff is a good conversation in one way, but a lot of this gets so boring. In one area, I think that the best art has a ring of authenticity, and you should always be trying to reach that. That's one reason why I love Stanley Kubrick. I like to think that all of the stuff that people get upset now with authenticity and all the type of stuff that annoys everyone whenever it ends up being a moralizing thing. The best filmmakers always usually veer in that direction, because if you want to tell a good story, like take Barry Lyndon for example, the best directors go through a painstakingly arduous amount of research, dedication to getting every single detail right. Like, we haven't gotten a new James Cameron Avatar movie because he just keeps on obsessing over every little detail. The best directors obsess over every little detail. And the directors that do that normally don't get in trouble, and they can normally do more risky things. And this is going back like even in the 20s, 50s, 70s. The ones that are the most dedicated to the detail of production design, casting, storytelling, they normally get a pass because there's a ring of authenticity to it. So there's a part of this type of conversation, I'm not saying this one exactly, but every time this type of thing comes up, there's part of me that feels like, yeah, we should always be going for the most authentic way of depicting, whatever, even if we're talking about, Dukes of Hazzard, get the car as correct as possible. If you're talking about the new Martin Scorsese movie, make sure that the Native American tribe that you are depicting, I'm sure he is going to painstaking links to make sure that everything is as close as to how it could have been in real life as possible, like that type of stuff. And then you just don't get in trouble with the annoying people that are throughout this industry all the time. The part that is so annoying about this, it gets into all of the moralizing. I am fine with a movie that is made and, isn't true to every little detail, and then we all hate it and it's stupid and it's just boring and we move on, which, let's face it, this movie's probably going to be anyway. Most of these live action things, do we even need them? I feel like that's a whole other point. So the moralizing, I feel like, is a waste of time. It kills the entertainment industry because everyone gets bored. At the same time, movies that are authentic end up living for years and years and years. The ones that don't end up normally dying. And I guess it is kind of at a crossroads here, because Disney doesn't want any of their old properties to die. So if they're bringing them back, they got to bring them back. I don't know. Is there any, do we have enough good Disney live action ones to justify these things being hyped? I think Jungle Book is the only one, but I don't know. Give me your thoughts on this whole story in the comments. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to 5 Minute Critic for future updates on reviews and movie news.